second part. The truth of the matter is, what happened with the funding of the school? What happened with funding of education? What happened with the funding of the security architect that we have in the country that can be able to put these things through to us? We still have forgot every aspect of these social responsibilities to cater in the society in such a way that we can be able to have a prosperity school. Take the school, for example. None of the elites have their children in school. That's why they left everything open. And even they have their children that are going to those public schools. They won't be like that. So please, we have to go back to the old days when elites are taking their children to public schools so that they can be able to scale very well. Now, we are left with nothing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Musa Shuaib. Well, let's now go to His Excellency Chairman, Northern State Governors Forum. Your Excellency, it's been a long day for you, but the price of leadership is always paid, and you are a shining example in that. Well, Your Excellency, you have heard it all, but let me make it personal now. You are the Governor of Plateau State, and since coming on board, the heated posture we used to hear about Plateau State, always in the news for one bad reason or the other, that has not been the case since you came on board. You have been able to stem it down, and it's very stabilized. Could you share your experience on how other governors or other states could tap from it? No, not necessarily from the northern part of the country, but other governors beyond the northern part of the country. What did you do? How did you achieve it? How do you plan to either assist, replicate it to other parts of the country?
Thank you very much. I think briefly, because this is a topic that will take you a whole day. But for me, briefly, I came in to a period where there was crisis, and mostly the crisis were farmers' herdsmen crisis. That was very prolonged for over 8 years. That was in the past regime. And within that time, a lot of things were in comatose in Plateau State. Civil servants were not paid salaries for 7-8 years, so completely there was no civil service. And then a lot of things, projects abandoned here and there. And then the government was battling with salaries, with the issue of insecurity. Now, what did I do? First of all, you should know that I was a speaker in the state for over 7 years. I was a speaker, and some of these issues started in 2001 when I was speaker. And then and then went up to the time when the next governor came in. And I felt that they were not able to handle it well. And first, because on issues of farmers' herdsmen, the best thing was to allow to give people a sense of belonging, give either party a sense of belonging. And that was how we started. We put all the parties together. We had intensive dialogue with all of them. They agreed, and when they agreed to start a process, I left them to take charge of that process. I left them to take part of that process. And what did we do? In order to take care and have a prolonged dialogue with control and supervision, we set up the peace agency. That's the only one in the whole nation. When the President Muhammad Buhari came to commission and they saw the document of the peace agency in Plateau State, he recommended it to all the states of the Federation. But I've not seen any state done that. We back it by law. We set up the peace building agency. Now, this building agency was to sustain every dialogue on every conflict that we saw that was going on. As it is now, before we see any conflict, the peace agency will be there. There is any early warning signal established by both the French and the American government in my state. We have early warning signals. Now, first of all, the bottom line is that the people took ownership of the process. And also we supported with the peace agency, with the peace agency. Up to today, we have a peace agency established by law. Now, while we're doing that and gaining peace, we went back to some of the complaints that were very prevalent in the society. What was the complaint? Injustice. Some people felt alienated in the state. Some people felt, no, they don't like them. The government does not like them. Doesn't like their faces. In other cases, some people felt, no, all they participated in this government, they pay taxes, but when it comes to appointments and employment or elections, they are not considered. So what we did was to bring in all the 53 ethnic nationalities in Plateau State. And the first appointment we did was we gave every 53 ethnic groups appointments. Every member of the 53 ethnic groups nationalities in Plateau State were all appointed in government, either as advisors, commissioners, and everything. So when it comes to the government, everybody was involved. And because of that involvement, we saw peace coming back to Plateau State. We saw the issue of herdsmen, farmers moving out, getting away from Plateau State, and with that peace, developments were going on. Our revenue was increasing, and then we went back to addressing the areas of salaries, the areas of pensions. And today, by the grace of God, Plateau pays us and when due. Plateau is one of the states that is paying 30,000 minimum wage. But before that, 8 months, 11 months, no more salaries. And the focus is that the government and the leadership must also be able to sacrifice certain things. Because if I had gone to say, no, I'm a Christian, I don't like Muslim, I belong to a tribe, I don't like this tribe, we would not have seen peace in Plateau State. But we accommodated everybody. Even areas that were no-go areas today in Plateau State are go areas, are free flow areas. And with that, we do development based on necessities and also needs of people. We don't segregate. We don't say, because these people belong to a political party, these people come from a different ethnic groups, they will not have development. No, that's not what I did. When I initiated 22 road projects in the state, it covers the whole state and we're still going on. By the grace of God, by the time we finish, that will be enough for the people of Plateau State. In every project, in every locality, in every ethnic group, they saw projects going on, even where there were no projects. In the last 20 or 30 years in Plateau State, they saw it. In some places where they have not been appointed at all, they saw appointment and then there was joy in that kind of thing. So in the process of peace building, we must also take cognizance that it is not always security that will bring peace to us. We must be ready to accommodate everybody's feelings. We must accommodate all Nigerians that live with us. I had a challenge one time when there was this quit notice for IPOP, by IPOP in the south, and then there was quit notice in Jos for all the Igbos from the south. I brought a coffee and I went out myself. No single Igbo man left. No single Igbo man left. And the same thing, that was why I argued. I said, if people are looking at that, and in addition to protecting all the people from the south, we all, the governors, northern governors, went all over the south. We went all to the southeast and went to all the capitals to make sure that we ensure that there was peace, and then there was distrust on them, confidence. We met with the northern communities and we came back. There was peace. But today, it will not be correct to say that for an element of insecurity in the state will also take part in saying that all people who live from that place should all leave. I still stand on that as the chairman of Northern Governors Forum. And by implication, it happened in Plateau State. So just like I will protect people from the southeast, I expect people from Plateau or people from the north to be protected wherever they are. When there are issues of criminality. In this country, after the Civil War, we saw armed robbery going on everywhere. We knew where armed robbery was coming from, but it wasn't an issue of ethnic profiling to say that all the tribes will go. It was issue of we must take care of the robbery in our various states. And then back to issue of security, I've had also very wonderful relationship with the security apparatus in my state. We have Operation Rainbow, we have Operation Safe Haven, we have the Nigerian police, we have the civil defense, and of course, recently when the community policing came, I was one of those that was at the forefront. We've embraced community policing and we're using our community policing. But in terms of intelligence gathering, I must say that Plateau is one of the best for now because we have early warning signals. I have not seen it in most of the states, but it's established free of charge by the French government in Plateau State to ensure that we look at areas where there are challenges and then we move in with our peace building. And when it is not enough, the police will come in. They will come in to address some of these issues. And like I mentioned, when you are doing this and infrastructure is also moving along, you will have peace in your state. And this is what I have. And by the grace of God, I won't say by my power or by my intelligence, but God has provided that wisdom. And that is what we are doing in Plateau State. Take care of all the 53 ethnic groups within the confine of what we have for all of them. And they always believe when we say this, when even there are challenges of pockets of, I must say, insecurity here and there, this is the same approach that we use. We cannot say that Plateau is free of insecurity, but we have been able to nip that in the bud. And since last time we came, that has been the approach that we are managing in our state.
Here we have another call on the line. Hello, you want to choose the live?
Hello?
Please go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. We can go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you so much. The whole thing for the insecurity is just the failure of the social amenity that the government needs to provide for the people. When that being done, all this insecurity will not be there. Just like what the second caller said, when you fail to understand the needs of the people, you are bound to have such. He made a similar references in terms of Southeast and South region when there is some kind of crisis in the region. But when the government know the needs of the people, they came in with so many programs. I don't want to make reference, but just like so many programs which are being laid down, of which a lot of them cannot be implemented. What do you expect the people to do? I think the basic thing for all these things is for the social welfare of the people. That is the paramount of any government, any society.
Thank you so much. Ojuku, before we go to Kaduna and Zamfara again, intelligence sharing. We have heard from various of the guests, including you, talk about the need for the people, and the man from Kaduna has kept on hinging on that. How best can we run with intelligence sharing? Because most times we hear that they send warnings, like he said here that 8 years ago in Zamfara, that they will be more destructive or more deadly than Boko Haram. Intelligence sharing, do we take it serious or we treat it with levity?
Okay, I will not say we treat issues of intelligence with levity. Intelligence is not foolproof. It's being guided by human. The human component is there. Sometimes a piece of information may come and then it has to be processed by the intelligence experts to know the value, the credibility, the workability. You may give an information that you think is genuine, but by the time it's analyzed, they may not find it of much intelligence value. Or even if it's of some value, it may not be actionable immediately. Some other thing they may wait for some other things to come before they act on that. Now, there are intelligence agencies in this country. Work on crime, work on security, and all that. I know there has not been a very robust relationship amongst all the agencies because of sibling rivalry and because of where we are coming from. But it's improving. With more training, more workshops together, synergy is getting better. And so where an agency picks up an intelligence that they know will be acted upon by another agency, I do expect they will share with that agency and then follow them up to get it done. And that is being done in most parts of the agencies that I know today. But the weak link is between the members of the public and intelligence agencies. Sometimes somebody may see something. I may say he doesn't trust the police, I don't trust this person, I will not pass it on. Or you just ignore it. You take it for granted. When the thing happens, anybody can be a victim. In the instant case he mentioned that a video clip was seen, I do believe the agencies involved must have analyzed that video. Analyze it.
I went to sleep.
No, they can't go to sleep because anybody can be a victim. If criminals release a video that they will make Nigeria ungovernable, they will attack it, who knows who will be there when they will attack? So I don't think anybody will just go to sleep. It's a matter of analyzing it, knowing how serious it is, how actionable, is it credible? And some of those such things may just be things you find on the internet, social media. A lot of things are concocted there. You may find that matter was not even done in Nigeria, it may be done in Mali or in Chad or wherever, and somebody imposed it and did some whatever. But I do believe that agencies are serious about security because everybody is involved and anybody can be a victim. So every group is expected to do what it ought to do. And where they fail to do it, there's a national body that superintends over security architecture. And such an agency should be called to order if they fail to do what they ought to do.
Okay. We'll take the next round of reports, and the next one, like we said, if this is happening in the north today, is the south ready? What is the southern part of the country doing in case this happens to nip it in the bud early enough? So we went across the entire country, not because it is happening in the north, so we ended up bringing reports from the north. We also have reports coming from the south, all tailored towards the conversation. And we take the report from Ebonyi.
Daberechi Ezechukwu and Prince Jonathan are students of Urban Secondary School at Abakaliki. The news of kidnapping of students in some parts of the country is one that worries them a lot. Hence their request for deployment of security agents to schools as to learn without fears.
Because they're my fellow students, and also people are innocent and they just kidnap them for just no just cause. So we need the government to make securities around, put some agencies around so that there will not be any loss of any students again.
The thing is really touching because I don't know what those people that kidnap them will do. So it's better for government to bring a security.
Since education is seen as the bedrock of the society, some hold the view that security issues in and around institutions of learning should be prioritized by stakeholders to avoid students dropping out of schools due to fear of insecurity.
We are appealing the government to come and help us to fence this area, even to give us security.
Commissioner for Information Uchenna Oji disclosed that the state government has installed CCTV cameras at strategic places, engaged over 4,000 youths in community policing, and concluded plans to fence schools across the state to prevent such occurrence. The police, on the other hand, is not resting on its oars in securing schools and the state at large.
The DPOs have taken over all the schools and are actually going about vehicular patrol and visibility policing in those schools. And we have actually profiled all the principals in the school.
For them, security of schools and the society should be a collective responsibility.
We proceed to Benin for the next report.
Nigerian school pupils are being confronted with fears of abduction and other violent crimes at their places of learning. This recent abduction, respondents say, is yet another tragic reminder of the security challenges that persist and how schools and school children remain a target for the abductors.
Who are these people doing this thing? Why are they doing what they are doing? I think criminality is criminality.
That's an attempt to abolish education as we know it, particularly Western education. It's rather very, very unfortunate.
It's scary. Sending your children to school, you don't know if they will return.
Where were the security personnel when all of these things were happening? So we believe that this is a syndicated operation.
Respondents want government at all levels to evolve a security architecture that will effectively secure the schools.
They can deploy troops to strategic positions in some of these towns and cities, because when they abduct these children, they go through roads. They don't take them through the air.
If they cannot solve this problem, they should cry out to those who can help us to solve the problem. And all manners of biases should be taken out of this.
If they know why they are here and those that invited them here, which I believe many are even aware, have a roundtable talk with their leaders and then do the needful. You understand? That will desert our country.
They appealed to individuals to assist schools in their domains with intelligence gathering and survey to avert future occurrence.
Enugu is our next stop.
The recent spree of attacks on schools in the northwest Nigeria, leading to abductions of students, has been described as unfortunate and deserving of a state of emergency to nip the ugly trend in the bud.
If such a thing should happen to any school in Enugu State, in fact, the parents won't allow their students to go to school any longer. We have the police number with us. If we have any challenge, we just intimate them and they will come.
Residents are of the view that urgent steps be taken by authorities in mounting modern security gadgets that will help secure Nigerian schools.
When government put in place the police post, it will help to checkmate the trooping in and out of pupils, even strangers that normally come to school.
Any act of criminality on children, the Bible is so much against that. And I believe the Quran, too, does not take kind to that. As a result of that, we have trained our men especially on how to monitor and report on individuals and strangers within the communities, particularly around the schools.
These sustained brutal attacks on school children, health experts say, could have a long-lasting mental health challenge on children, even as they call for speedy arrest of the situation.
Enugu was the last bit of reports tonight, and we now go to Zamfara, where Dr. Nathaniel is still joining us from. Doctor, I remember as a school boy in a primary school, we were security conscious. One of the days, somebody entered the compound. I took the pupils to assist the security man to chase the person out of the compound. Now, with the developments, you hear the Nigerian military telling you it was not experienced in asymmetrical warfare, but now it is well equipped to confront it. Will it be wrong in finding solutions to this if we incorporate security consciousness in the school curriculum and also in the Safe Schools Declaration by the United Nations on armed solutions, and armed solutions are embedded? One of it is to train school managers, pupils on how to be security conscious and process intelligence. Would this work if we incorporate it?
It certainly would work, to some extent. When you go to the United States, for example, young children as young as 3 and 4 would spend some 2-3 years what we used to refer to as civic education. Now, civic education in that climb would mean that children are exposed to the different rules in the American society. About safety issues, about safety measures. They know the roads, they know where the police stations are located, they know what number to call. So certainly it would. But of course, don't forget that we're operating in a different environment, in a sense. And when you look at the kidnappings, these kidnappings are done mostly in the night or at night or in the early hours of the morning. What would a child do at that moment? I think it rather calls for, investing in the technology of security, for example. Do we have unmanned aerial vehicles, for example, drones that may be flying across some space to be able to gather information about movements at night? Do we put security agents, manually? One of the things that the Plateau State governor, for example, had not said was the fact that he also invested heavily on the kinetic approach. I was in Plateau State last year, February, and I saw between the hours of 6 and 7 in the evening, I saw a lot of security people riding on motorbikes, going to survey communities at night. That's one of those things that can be done. Do we have investment, or have we invested in security measures in such a way that while civilians may be sleeping, the security agencies are patrolling, But in most cases, they don't even have a patrol vehicle. the NSCDC, for example, in Kebbi, could not have a patrol vehicle to accompany us. We had to go and hire a vehicle from the park to be able to take them. I mean, these are some of the things that we should be concerned about. So when we talk about security consciousness, a child can be security conscious. But to what extent can a child be security conscious and be able to call for the intervention of security agencies when they are needed to promptly address a situation or a security breach in a community? Now, let's face some realities. One, this country, are we rich enough in this country for every state to be able to have a security helicopter, a surveillance helicopter? Yes. You might even say every local government could do that. But why have we not been able to do that? I mean, people will begin to tell you different stories about, the things, all the monies that Sardauna had to drive northern Nigeria is not it's not equal to what a state, this present, a state in northern Nigeria we have today. So why was it possible then, and then today it is not impossible? We may have to think about, yes, educating our citizens about security, maybe creating awareness, raising workshops, and inserting that in our curriculum. We certainly would need to do that. What would be the first point of call if there are suspicious movement around a school, for example, around a community? What happens? But that only happens when citizens are patriotic, when citizens know that they have a government that cares for them. If the citizens are not cared for by a government, that's what terrorists do. Terrorists take advantage of the lapses that governments have not been able to provide and provide social safety networks. And what do you find? People pay their allegiance to terrorists. And I guess that is why people are not interfacing with security agencies, because they feel like, well, government is far away. They are not getting anything from government. So why should I be, why should I pay my allegiance to? So it's not as if we cannot transmit intelligence and knowledge from one point to the other. But if that is done and that is not done, no response, we become very discouraged about the situations that we find ourselves in. So I agree that we need to go back and insert security consciousness in our curriculum, from the primary to the secondary and maybe to the tertiary level.
Thank you so much. Quickly to Mohammed. Mohammed, at the inception of this administration, a lot has been talked about. Is it not time we look at the place of true federalism? Remember, the Kaduna State Governor had the committee by the APC. I'm talking about Mohammed now from Kaduna. The Kaduna signal is not up. Let's go to Your Excellency. Well, just to recount, sorry for the technical hitches there. I just asked that, is it not time now for the APC Federalism Committee report to be implemented in terms of true federalism?
That made up that. Say yes and no. No, because this report has not been generally made public for members, every member of the public or Nigerians, to know what it contains and what it's all about. This remains a working document within the hierarchy of the leadership of the APC. So until it is made public for people to make inputs or some observations, that is when we will be able to say, yes, it is time for this document to be implemented or otherwise. So this is my take for that. And quickly, I want to congratulate His Excellency for being the first governor to create a peace agency in his state. With all humility, I also want to observe that in Kaduna State in 2017, a peace commission was created by law number 16 of 2017, and the functions of this peace committee is to, among other things, try to endanger mutual trust and respect amongst our diverse ethnic and religious persuasions within the state in order to have an inclusive society regardless of our differences in ethnicity and religion, so that together we will be able to work, live together peacefully, and even intermarry amongst ourselves, because our ancestors who have lived in these places before us have lived peacefully together in spite of the differences in ethnicity and religion. So what went wrong? Why are we today at one another's neck? So these are some of the things we really need to look at. And this, I think, is one of the reasons behind the creation of the Kaduna State Peace Commission. And today they are doing a very wonderful job of trying to bring communities, different communities together for us to understand one another, respect one another in order to live in peace. Because peace is a universal thing. And until there is peace, we will not be able to attain progress in whatever we are doing.
At this point, Mohammed Ali, security expert, it was nice sharing your thought with us on Tuesday Live tonight. Okay, let's proceed to Jos now. Your Excellency, by way of your concluding thoughts, let me say we have heard a lot, but you have hinged on it briefly where you talked about the constabulary policing and what have you. Don't you think if the APC True Federalism Committee report is activated now and fast, we could have switched much of these challenges?
I was a member of the committee, and the committee sat down, and we sat for almost about 6 months to address some of these issues. And in those issues, I think some of the lingering issues when people talk about restructuring, but the perception is that people talk about restructuring and believe that the North is not interested in restructuring. We had a very robust deliberations, and even at the level of the Governors Forum, Northern Governors Forum, we have a committee that is already working on restructuring. A specific committee headed by the Governor of Sokoto. It's only that they had not finished their job. That was why we are not able to take the report of the committee there. That report would have been sent and incorporated along with the APC restructuring committee headed by Governor El-Rufai. We have submitted our report to the party. So it's now left for the party to take action on some of these issues that we mentioned. And also let me talk about a little about this issue of ensuring that we get back to teaching security even at the level of primary and secondary school. As a young child growing up, I was in the Boy Scouts. I was trained by the Boy Scouts. I was also a member of the Man of War. And through that, I think we learned some kind of security. What were we doing in school was to teach us how to be very security conscious and to be able to safeguard the school in respect to any other insecurity that will happen in the school. You find out sometimes that the Boy Scouts or the Man of War or the student police in some cases, in some secondary school, will sleep overnight when there are insecurities in that place. Let us try to revive this. It was also because in most of the secondary schools, some of these intakes into NTA were always from there. If you were a Boy Scout or Man of War, you had better qualification to go through the NDA or join the police. And then, like somebody mentioned, technology. In some states, we will agree that we're going to buy some of these the equipments, but we will not get any user certificates. These are some of the problems that governors are raising. They say, look, if it is responsibility, we want to do it. We want to buy some of these equipment. But the limitations are that you buy the equipment, even if you buy the equipment, you will get to that place and nobody will give you an user certificate. So you cannot use this certificate. They use this equipment. I'm aware that the governor of Zamfara too, at one time said he had acquired some equipment, but up to this moment, he has not been given the right to use for the use of those equipments. So we raised that matter with even the NSA. So if the police are overwhelmed or the security are overwhelmed, and the states are going to buy them, like my brother mentioned from Zamfara, But where is the end user certificate? You will not be allowed to use them. You will not be allowed to use them. Now, we need an opportunity to have a new focus, a new blueprint, like they said, in the face of emerging trend in insecurity, so that we sit down again and start reviewing what can be done. Because in this case, all stakeholders will be taken, will be carried along. And finally, like I said, in my state, I depend mostly on community engagement. Community engagement, because through community engagement, you will be able to know that you will settle some of these issues. Because in times like this, it's sometimes very difficult. Somebody will take a report to the police. I've seen it. It's life. I've seen it. They make a report to the police about somebody doing something, and then before you know anything, that person will give him a call and tell him that I'm being informed that you have reported me to the police. So we have to have a new reorientation in terms of our training, even in recruitment and capacity orientation. Otherwise, we'll be talking about security here. Security is getting sophisticated. The criminals are also maintaining a very sophisticated, advanced sophistication. So once we do that, to carry along and go along with in addressing those issues, those items will also have to be taken back, at least elementary training, if not from primary school, let it also start from secondary school.
Right Honorable Simon Bakolalong, Executive Governor of Plateau State. It was nice sharing your time with us on Tuesday Live tonight. Thank you so much.
I mean, I'll always be coming back again. I'm not tired.
Well, quickly, Nathaniel, just a few lines. Your last thoughts before we close.
Well, thanks for the invitation, but I think my suggestion would be that we need to actually invest heavily on security. I mean, I understand what the governor has said. Part of the international conspiracy is to make you redundant, but I think it's high time that we looked inward and begin to develop our own technologies to respond to insecurity situations in this country instead of relying on external technologies, and we will not be able to even have the certificate to use them. I mean, the Nigerians are very innovative. I'm sure if you go from within communities in Nigeria, people can develop some of those technologies, and we can use them without asking the permission of any other country. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the program tonight. Reassurance do you have for Nigerians as we close tonight?
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. I do believe that if we cross our T's properly and not the I's, the assault on our education will be minimized. If the intention of the criminal elements is to reduce school enrollment, I think they should fail. And if their intention in attacking girls' schools in particular is to increase maternal mortality, disempower women, lead them to early forced marriages and all that, I think collectively Nigerians should stand firmly and refuse that from happening. They must fail in that enterprise. And so I want to ask adults like me to please put our hearts together and ensure our children go back to school. And as they go to school, let the schools be properly fenced. Let there be perimeter fencing. Let there be deployment of materials to deter criminals or even to delay them and deny them entry, so that our children can go about their school, their education, without this trauma hanging on their necks. Those who've just come out, the injuries may heal, but the scars will remain for quite a long time. So let us deploy psychologists as well to counsel them and ask them that there's still a future ahead for them.
Dr. Emmanuel Ojukwu, Provost Police Public Relations School, Lafayette. It was nice having you on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Well, that's it on Tuesday Live. We looked at Securing Schools in Nigeria Part 2. Thank you for your tweets, thank you for your calls, and for all the technical issues. We do apologize once again for bearing with us. On behalf of all of us,